It's that rebel spirit that stood up and made the business take notice and told them, I don't give a damn what size we are, we belong here.
Boston calls that swaggy D. Roll up all over the trunks.
Earlier this year, we made history as a roster comprised entirely of athletes 185 pounds and under stood up and took their claim on the industry as welterweights. Get ready to make history again. Welterweight Wrestling 2, live on Fight, Sunday, October 22nd. We go live at the top of the hour with Welterweight Wrestling 2. Let's preview the card for you right now. We're going to kick things off by talking about a recent rematch from an Evolve event. Talking about Anthony Henry and Jason the Gift Kincaid, the MMA background versus the unique West Virginia Mountaineer mentality, their one-on-one in recent meetings. Buku Dow has made a big-time impact for Wildcat Sports in Louisiana. Ace Austin, a major star in the East Coast and Midwest on the rise. He was shining at the Welterweight 1 event. He'll go one-on-one with Buku here this afternoon. Cornelius Crumbles with Sonny Navarre, Jakara standouts. Atticus Cover with brother Otis. They are, let's be honest, they're sick in the head. The most violent and wild tag team rivalry in the area. Stolen masks, title belts, and more lead to this matchup heading to iPay-per-view. Gavin Glass, the cut above the rest, versus the Concrete Rose, Sonny Kiss. Gavin is full of attitude and a pompous nature, but he can't underestimate Sonny Kiss. He's a very dangerous man. Tag action on tap, Eye Candy, Elliott, Tyler Nitro. They never met a mirror they didn't like. Alex Jordan and Sean Phoenix, a makeshift team in our first event. They come back more prepared. We'll see who will get the victory here this afternoon. Plus Cole Radrick and Sage Phillips. Against the Amazing Graysons, hysteria has risen to the occasion in the Midwest. The Graysons have made news headlines all over the East Coast. Tony Mamaluke, their mentor. Two teams will collide for the first time. 7-weight elimination scramble. Who gets the title shot at Welterweight 3 in 2018? 7 different journeys, 7 deserving paths. Elimination rules. We crowned a champion this way. We'll crown a contender that way too. Speaking of champions, Ace Perry, the welterweight champion, defends against the new age plague Gory. It's the darkness of the infection of Gory versus the light of the positive attitude of Ace Perry. They go one-on-one in your main event. It's Welterweight Wrestling 2. We go live in HD at 5 p.m. Eastern on Fight. Welcome to the Welterweight Wrestling 2 Countdown Show. I am Joe Dombrowski. Over the next 60 minutes, we'll get you all set for our live iPay-per-view that starts at the top of the hour on Fight. We hear comments from many of the welterweights, but first, let's get you to ringside. Bonus welterweight action. It's a 4-way elimination match. Time to fly, baby! Nate Wiggs, the smallest man in the welterweight division, 130 pounds. He was outsized by 50 pounds in round 1 of welterweight wrestling, the inaugural event on iPay-per-view, and Nate Wiggs still was able to not only emerge victorious, but make it to, I believe it was the Final 4 in the welterweight championship elimination scramble. And if he can advance and get past 3 entities as he did in the 7-way to get down to the Final 4, he'll be victorious. And Sage Phillips and Gavin Glass out of nowhere going for some big strikes. And again, the size advantage here, 35 pounds, or excuse me, 55 pounds, or 54.9 separates these two athletes as Nate Wiggs with a scissors kick and Nate and Sage going one-on-one, a bit more evenly matched.
And Joe, this is going to be quick. It's going to be catch as catch can. If you blink, you're going to miss a move, maybe 2, maybe 3.
Trapped the Lamati Stock cradle there, did Sage Phillips, and Phillips caught Wiggs around the temple there with that enziguri as Young and Gavin battling on the outside. This is all about opportunity, Ben. These are 4 athletes who feel like they're deserving of more as Sage Phillips launches himself like a heat-seeking missile. Gavin, that tall, lanky frame, gonna fly as well. He goes to the second of the top rope and lands on his feet. Gavin, a 3-sport athlete in high school. He was the talk of the town. He had all the cheerleaders wanting to be around him. All the other guys wanted to be him. But in the real world, high school doesn't exactly mean that much popularity-wise. And Gavin's looking for the welterweight title to put himself back in the center of attention.
Well, Gavin Glass comes from just a pedigree.
Oh, wait a second. Nate Wings, the Arabian moonsault, lands on his feet.
Well, it's right now it's one man trying to one-up the other. We have MV Young is, well, really the only man in the ring right now. But as I was saying, Gavin Glass from a proud pedigree.
Oh, look out! MP Young launches himself to the outside. Tope Canhilo. He landed almost flush on. I think that was Sage Phillips got the worst of it.
Well, not good for him, but good for MV Young. All 4 of these individuals obviously have something to prove. They have something to stake their claim in the welterweight division.
We saw Gavin in the original welterweight 4-way showcase that led to the formation of the brand. As Gavin and Young back and forth center ring. Sage Phillips. 2-0 for MV Young there. Sage Phillips came in that wild card 4-way and raised a lot of eyebrows. MV Young, his first time in. MV Young has been just salivating for this opportunity for months and months. And Nate Wings, he wants an opportunity at the welterweight championship. And he also wants a shot at the members of the culmination because, Nate Wings up the back of Sage Phillips. Keep in mind the way Gory defeated Wings back at Powder Keg. Outsmarted Wings, feigning that leg injury. You know, Wings hadn't forgot about that either. Wings has a lot of goals on his list. Not just least of all what we mentioned, but also rumors of the Premier Tag Team Championship coming to fruition. We're going to crown Tag Team Champions next month. Nate Wings and Aaron Williams are involved. If Wings survives this matchup, knockout shots for everybody. This match is almost too quick to call.
Well, absolutely. Like I said earlier, if you blink, you're going to miss something. Right now, though, these 4 men have a chance to maybe catch a breather, maybe catch their wind, maybe rebound a little bit. We've seen Sage Phillips take a lot of punishment. We've seen MV Young take a lot of punishment. We've seen Gavin Glass and Nate Wings as well take a lot of punishment. Gavin Glass told me earlier he's winning this in hopes for his family. His father, George Glass, former NFL player, and also a shot putter.
I've never met him.
Well, actually, he does exist.
Oh! There's a heck of a descriptor. Well, dropkick by MP Young.
Well, after that shot, I don't know if there will be any Glass grandchildren. Oh, jeez.
I think Gavin just forgot who his dad is. We got a cover for MP Young. Eliminating Gavin, no. Strong showing could lead to some opportunities for somebody because Welterweight 2 is coming your way on October 22nd, and I think all 4 of these men would love to be in a prominent position on that pay-per-view as Sage Phillips now elevates himself. MV Young just landed on Sage's head in that dive a few minutes ago. Sage looking for retribution.
Well, Sage obviously looked to recover from
right in that knee brace. That knee that had reconstructive surgery late last year. It just knocked MV Young out. He's eliminated.
MV Young has been eliminated.
You saw Sage Phillips' motion there. 1 down, 2 to go.
Well, Joe, shouldn't that be a disqualification? I mean, that's not fair to MV Young. We saw, you mentioned it, that knee brace. That could be loaded with metal or some sort of foreign international object.
Well, it was inspected by the official before anybody came out as Gavin with a strike combo. Sage going to hit Gavin with that knee brace as well. No, Gavin able to counter. The cut above the wrist, springboard. Beautiful adjustment midstream into the cutter. Sage Phillips could be out. And Sage is eliminated.
Sage Phillips has been eliminated.
And a sinister grin from Gavin Glass, who feels he's smarter than the rest of the pack. It's down to Gavin and Nate Wings now, 1-on-1. Big-time welterweight momentum at stake.
I know you mentioned earlier the great high school days of Gavin Glass. It's appropriate because while one of these individuals was a winner, Nate Wings was the kind of guy who wouldn't get a date to prom and was probably stuck in lockers all through high school.
Nate Wings with a standing moonsault, nicely done. And now a Cabrana. Cover to Gavin. No, near fall. At least Nate could have fit comfortably, I bet.
Well, I bet he could have with the books and the plants and whatever else kids have in their lockers nowadays.
Crowd coming alive here for Nate Wings. He's been a sentimental favorite since day one here in Premier Championship Wrestling when he first walked in. But he is outsized by Gavin considerably in the height category. And we're talking about 20-25 pounds weight-wise. And check out, oh, Nate Wings had the balance taken out from under him. Gavin catches Wings high with that backcracker. This could do it. Gavin a victory, no.
Well, I certainly thought that was 3. Obviously, Gavin thought that was 3. But I guess what it matters is the referee counting 3.
You can see that determination, that focus. It's almost like Gavin switches gears and he snaps a little bit. He's so thirsty for that attention. He just craves that positive reinforcement. But Nate Wings, able to make an adjustment of his own and plant Gavin Glass into the mat. Now, I think it's time to fly. 450 splash. Huge win for Nate Wings, surviving the welterweight field.
The winner of this fatal 4-way elimination welterweight showcase, Nate Wings.
Well, Joe, that certainly wouldn't have been my pick.
Well, Nate Wings has made a living defying the odds and proving critics wrong. He did it on Welterweight Wrestling's pay-per-view with Cam Zagami, made it to the finals. He did it here, surviving a field of 3.
After Welterweight Wrestling's inaugural event, all people could talk about was how the Cobra Supernova stole the show. And while I appreciate the sentiment, what you truly mean when you use that phrase is the master of snake style pulled out all the stops. He went to all extremes. He risked life and limb like no other competitor to earn an opportunity at the Welterweight Championship. And while I may have come up on the losing end of that bout because I flew a little too close to the sun, Jason Gory found out firsthand that when you back a snake into a corner, you will get bit. But you see, I'm no ordinary snake. I'm Ophidian. And when you back me to a corner, when you put me in a fight or flight situation, there is only ever one choice. Both. So make sure you're watching live on iPay-per-view this Sunday. Because when I'm on Fight TV, not just battling one competitor, but 6, I'm going to teach you and those 6 warriors the true definition of fight and flight. And when that's all said and done, I'm heading into Welterweight 3, your #1 contender. And whether it's Ace Perry or Jason Gory that's walking in the champion, Ophidian the Cobra is walking out, your new welterweight champion. Oh, yeah.
Boo, cool, Thou. That's my name. And there are some things you need to know about me. Boo, cool, Thou. And that's 1. I like to drink water. 2. I like to eat water. And 3. I drive a cow. But the most important thing you need to know about me, Buku Dao, is that when I'm in the ring, there's a time for action and a time for diplomacy. And diplomacy is dead. On Sunday, October 22nd, Ace Austin, I'm gonna whoop your butt so too hard that you won't sit right forever. Đủ má mày, thằng cặc.
We go live at the top of the hour with Welterweight Wrestling 2. Let's preview the card for you right now. We're going to kick things off by talking about a recent rematch from an Evolve event. Talking about Anthony Henry and Jason the Gift Kincaid, the MMA background versus the unique West Virginia Mountaineer mentality, they're one-on-one in recent meetings. Buku Dow has made a big-time impact for Wildcat sports in Louisiana. Ace Austin, a major star in the East Coast and Midwest on the rise. He was shining at the Welterweight 1 event. He'll go one-on-one with Buku here this afternoon. Cornelius Crumbles with Sonny Navarre, Chikara standouts. Atticus Coder with brother Otis. They are, let's be honest, they're sick in the head. The most violent and wild tag team rivalry in the area. Stolen masks, title belts, and more lead to this matchup heading to iPay-per-view. Gavin Glass, the cut above the rest, versus the Concrete Rose, Sonny Kiss. Gavin is full of attitude and a pompous nature, but he can't underestimate Sonny Kiss. He's a very dangerous man. Tag action on tap, Eye Candy, ELLIOTT, Tyler Nitro. They never met a mirror they didn't like. Alex Jordan and Shawn Phoenix, a makeshift team in our first event. They come back more prepared. We'll see who will get the victory here this afternoon. Plus Cole Radrick and Sage Phillips against the Amazing Graysons. Hysteria has risen to the occasion in the Midwest. The Graysons have made news headlines all over the East Coast. Tony Mamaluke, their mentor. Two teams will collide for the first time. 7-weight elimination scramble. Who gets the title shot at Welterweight 3 in 2018? 7 different journeys, 7 deserving paths. Elimination rules. We crowned a champion this way. We'll crown a contender that way too. Speaking of champions, Ace Perry, the welterweight champion, defends against the new age plague Gory. It's the darkness of the infection of Gory versus the light of the positive attitude of Ace Perry. They go one-on-one in your main event. It's Welterweight Wrestling 2. We go live in HD at 5 p.m. Eastern on Fight.
What's going on, everyone? It's Mr. Excitement, Ryan Kidd, presenting here from the world-famous Arena, Mexico, where I've been doing my entire month of training here for CMLL. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this Sunday in Cleveland, Ohio, and live all around the entire world via iPay-per-view. We present Welterweight 2. If you thought the first one was good, wait till the second one comes through, because Mr. Excitement is in a huge match. We're not talking one opponent, we're not talking two, we're talking 6 different opponents, and we're all vying for a #1 contendership spot at the Welterweight Championship. And it doesn't matter that some of these men are some of the most talented men in North America, because you're looking at one of the most talented men in the entire world. My discipline is at an all-time high. My training is at an all-time high. My weightlifting is at an all-time high. And once I win that #1 contendership and go on to win the Welterweight Championship, my career will also be at an all-time high. My opponents, I hope you're ready. Fans, I hope you're ready. Because after this Sunday, there's one name that you're going to remember, and that's Mr. Excitement, Ryan Kidd.
Yeah, Welterweight Wrestling. You like what you see here? That's what I thought. Lucky for you, you get to see a whole lot more of this Sunday night when I Candy Elliott, come to you live on iPay-per-view. See, me and my new best friend, the other most classically handsome wrestler on your roster, Tyler Nitro, we're coming to Welterweight Wrestling 2, and we're coming to do you all a little favor. See, not only are we going to give you something good to look at, but we're going to get rid of a few of these hideous little runts that tend to plague your screens. First off, Alex Jordan, please bring your prepubescent girlfriend Shawn Phoenix with you this Sunday, because I've got some bad news for you boys. Me and Tyler Nitro, we are way out of your league. Now yeah, that's the bad news for you, but boys, I've got some good news for you while I'm at it. See, yeah, you're the first in line to be cut from Welterweight Wrestling, but you will also be first in line to get a taste of the candy.
Before Ace Perry found his way to Gory, he had to face the toughest welterweight title defense of his career. Check out Ace versus Jonathan Gresham.
Your main event of the evening is scheduled for one fall. It is for the Welterweight Championship.
Turner's Hall has had a lot of classic matches, epic confrontations, and major stars throughout the decades it's housed professional wrestling. Tonight, I think we're going to write another chapter in this building that'll be talked about for many, many years to come. It was here in Turner's Hall in the month of May that Ace Perry survived a tournament to become the very first welterweight champion. This man wanted to be part of that tournament. He reached out to management directly to ask to be a part of that tournament. It was only when a scheduling conflict came into play that this man, the Octopus Jonathan Gresham, contractually could not be a part of that tournament. But Gresham deserved the opportunity. He deserved the chance to fend for this title. He's not somebody that feigned an injury and flew himself home. He's not somebody that fell asleep in a car and wound up in the wrong state. He's somebody that wanted to be here and wanted to be part of this event and wanted to be a part of welterweight wrestling. Jonathan Gresham deserves this opportunity, and Jonathan Gresham could make the most of it. If he wins tonight, the main event of Welterweight Wrestling 2 for the title becomes a three-way: Gory, Ace Perry, and Jonathan Gresham, with him involved. And you want to talk about a great champion you can be proud of. The one-man boy band, Mr. Positivity. Ace Perry is always on his game, always ready with a positive message for his fans, and always with a smile on his face. Whether he's at a merchandise table saying hello, whether he's in the ring fighting, Ace Perry's got some of the best positive mental attitude I've ever seen. But deep in that mind, Ace Perry knows things will get deathly serious in a minute, as he's in for the fight of his life if he wants to keep that title.
Introducing first is the challenger, from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 167 pounds, the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. And his opponent, from Indianapolis, Indiana, weighing in at 175 pounds, he is the welterweight champion, Diamond Cut, Ace Perry.
Both these men's respective stocks have risen month after month. Gresham and Ring of Honor are part of Search and Destroy, studying under the likes of Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. Ace Perry traveling all over the country as a free spirit, independent contractor, competing for promotions as far away from his home in Indiana as Georgia and Florida. And those aren't flights, folks. Those are drives. Those are hours and hours spent in cars to ply his trade and make his mark in this business. This is a welterweight championship matchup as we count down to Welterweight Wrestling 2, live on the Fight app, FITE, Fight.tv, Sunday afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, October 22nd, from right here, Turner's Hall, Cleveland, Ohio. WelterweightWrestling.com, Welterweight PW on Twitter, or Welterweight Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. You're going to see action like this with athletes like this, a roster entirely comprised of competitors 185 pounds and under, fighting on a level playing field for supremacy and to show they belong. They have a place in this industry on top just like anybody else. And Gresham and Perry are going to give you everything they've got in this matchup. Perry is a little bit more of a risk taker than Gresham. He's always shown no fear, thrown caution to the wind. Gresham can be ground and pound, and he's a mat master. Gresham has studied all over this world. He's seen success in Japan and Germany and throughout the United States. He's called the Octopus for a reason, because he can contort and bend your body in so many different ways with so many different holds. It's almost like he's got 8 appendages.
Well, no doubt about it. He takes the joints and the finger and the arm and the leg and the little pinky, and he just manipulates them to a point where pain, you didn't even know you could have a pain in that place of your body. I know Ace Perry has done a lot of great things here, not only in his career as welterweight wrestling champion in Premier Championship Wrestling, but has he ever faced somebody with the technical skill of Jonathan Gresham? That's the big question. That's what Ace Perry has to overcome if he wants to remain champion.
And that's a great question. And I don't know the answer. I don't have Ace Perry's entire career history in front of me, but I do know that if you were going to rank the most technically proficient athletes on this level today, if you were going to rank the most cerebral, the most calculated, the most focused, the most meticulous athletes, you would put Gresham near or at the top of that list. Ace Perry was in the fight of his life a couple months ago when he successfully defended against the handicapped hero Gregory Iron. I think tonight is markedly tougher in the form of Jonathan Gresham.
We just saw early on there Jonathan Gresham not only attempting to manipulate his elbow to get out of that hole, but attempting to do that to Ace Perry as well. The man knows the physiology of the human body more than just about anybody.
Gresham, a 12-year pro, originally trained by Mr. Hughes down in Georgia. Ace Perry, his experience level only about half that to Gresham's. It's the fluidity of Gresham's movements. Down into the headlock, now Perry up with the wrist lock.
You're not going to see a lot of wasted movement, wasted time from Jonathan Gresham. And there's a little bit of a feeling out process early on. Ace Perry, certainly he's the welterweight champion, so certainly a hell of a competitor, but a little bit of a feeling out process to see exactly what you're going to get. Smart move there, holding on, being able to counterbalance Jonathan Gresham's defense at this point.
This is going to be a human game of chess. Both these men, they have never met before in the ring to my knowledge. They're going to feel one another out, see what the other's capable of. And it's not always looking for a pin or submission. It's always, well, how's my opponent going to react to this? What move is he going to make? What body part is he going to go for?
And a lot of times that sets you up 3, 4, 5 chess moves down the road, if you will, to know exactly where your opponent's gone, to scout his weaknesses and his strengths live while you're in the ring with him. Not a lot of people can do that. Not a lot of people can adjust on the fly. Jonathan Gresham is one of those individuals that can do just that.
Gresham's been a former CZW World Champion, best of the best tournament winner. Gresham has won 0-1 USA Junior Heavyweight Championship. He's won WXW Gold in Germany. He's won gold as part of Pro Wrestling 0-1. Of course, success in Japan. Jonathan Gresham has spanned the globe with what he's been able to accomplish. Controlling the arm, now controlling the head. Perry scissors his way out of things.
No.
Notice how quickly men are offering counters and counters to the counters. That shows they know how dangerous their opponent is. They don't want to get trapped. They don't get caught in a situation they can't get themselves out of.
Well, that's just the thing. And when you do that with Jonathan Gresham, you mentioned earlier, the octopus, he's going to bend you in certain ways. Get that octopus hold on there. I've seen him use variations of the stretch plum in the past as well. The guy's got a submission game that's second to none as well.
I don't know if you noticed, but the first time Gresham had countered out of Perry's scissors, he gave almost a confident wave to Perry, almost a psych-out tactic. Like, yeah, I got out of that no problem. And Gresham has found escape after escape for this scissors hold. Perry goes back to it relentlessly. This is a wear-down tactic. Now a bridging escape by Gresham. That's, I think, the 4th or 5th different escape we've seen from the same hold from Gresham. That shows you how learned he is in the art of mat wrestling.
Well, many individuals may remember Dean Malenko.
Countdown. Blast off. Hey, well, no, Perry counters that submission attempt and caught Gresham off guard. Perry caught Gresham on his back. Tried to trap the shoulders quickly. Gresham now on his guard.
I was going to reference Dean Malenko as the man of 1,000 holds. May have been eclipsed by Jonathan Gresham. This guy knows holds on top of holds, and as you mentioned earlier, several different variations of counters for a single hold or move.
Still quick on his feet. And Gresham responds in kind. Look at that.
A little bit of gamesmanship early on here, one-on-one between the two.
See what Perry's got. Impressively turned and baited himself right into Gresham's trap.
Well, that's where that 12-year experience comes into play handy there for Jonathan Gresham. Ace Perry should have known better.
He absolutely should have, but Perry fires back. This match begins to open up a little bit. Pace quickens. Perry, German-style suplex. Gresham makes the back of his head on that turnbuckle. Does Gresham dig? Gresham in the ropes. Great call by referee McCoy. Perry a little too close to the ropes on that coverage game.
Smart move there by Gresham as well, knowing exactly where he's at all times.
And we're seeing the aggression come out of Ace Perry, and sometimes that's something that takes a while to form on Ace Perry. We've seen in some of his wars in the past with a Nate Matson or a Dylan Bostic. You really get under Ace Perry's skin, he can show a whole new side to himself, and Gresham's bringing out that side of Ace Perry right now.
Well, he's going to have to, because Gresham as well, not only for his mat game and his submission game and his counter game, a striker as well in his own right, definitely with those knife-edge chops.
Perry back down with the side headlock. Gresham trying to apply a system of his own to counter Perry's headlock. Mirror image of what you saw a few moments ago. Shoulder shot briefly. I would give Gresham a brief, slight advantage on that strike exchange we saw. But remains to be seen if that will be the case throughout this matchup.
Smart move there by Perry. A lot of guys would run over, bounce off those ropes, try and get some momentum going, and then they'd be right where Jonathan Gresham won him. Ace Perry didn't. He stopped. He went back to him and took him over there with the side headlock.
Again, it's the human game of chess. If you create distance, you create opportunity. It's up to your opponent to bridge that gap between yourself and your opponent's bodies. Ace Perry's doing that, keeping Gresham in his grasp. If Gresham's on his back, he can't hit. At least not with the ferocity he can on his feet. Certainly, Gresham's submission game is compromised. Scissors counter. Ace nips up, back down to the headlock. Counter again. Ace back up. These gentlemen are just relentless with their offense. Ace looking to wear away at Gresham and plan ahead. Gresham not letting him. Gresham continuing to force Ace to think on his feet.
You have to think that a lot of eyes are on this matchup, not only through welterweight wrestling, but the wrestling world as a whole, knowing exactly who Jonathan Gresham is and a rising star like Ace Perry.
New Age plague Gory got to be watching. He will face one or both of these men on paper. Gresham trying to elevate Ace Perry.
Quite frankly, Gory watching it all is a bit of an unsettling idea.
And Perry with a cover there too, count only. Notice how deeply Ace Perry had to go down to get underneath Gresham enough to leverage Gresham over. Gresham, that low center of gravity and also that wide vertical base made him so tough to elevate.
Now, going back to Gory for just a second, if you're Gory, what are you looking for in this matchup between the two? Obviously, a weakness you can exploit, but do you think there's an X factor that he could hone in on one of these two individuals?
I think Gory brings an entirely different strategy to the table that is nothing like either of these two men are presenting. I think Gory is just going to be happy to watch these guys beat the hell out of each other and look for a weakness to exploit later. Gresham up and over. Sunset flip of Perry rolls through. Again, back and forth, tit for tat, counter wrestling. Oh, Gresham focuses on that arm and into the arm drag, just wrenching that arm. That's not a standard arm drag. That's not a throwaway arm drag. Gresham tried to wrench that arm and shoulder with every fiber in his being because Gresham has created a weakness, and that normally is a setup into one of those octopus submissions, but is it too early for Gresham?
And it's very much like blood in the water for a shark. Once they get a taste of that, get a smell of that blood, they know what they're going for. They're honed in on it, and that's exactly what Gresham's doing right now. Smart of Ace Perry to try and create distance, but he's going to have to really, really work out that arm and that shoulder if he's going to want to stay up there with Gresham.
Notice Ace Perry is hesitant, tentative to move that left arm. He's got to shake some feeling back into it. As Gresham dares Ace Perry to meet him chop for chop. Oh, wait a second. Gresham just diverted the official's attention and caught Perry below the belt.
Well, that was a little bit of, well, Joe, sometimes when you get into a...
Look at this cover. Gresham, I think Gresham is getting a little bit maybe overconfident at this point.
I was going to say, sometimes when you get in a one-on-one match like this, a little thing can change. A little thing can even change an attitude, and that might be what we're seeing with Jonathan Gresham right now. I can't argue with it. I got to hand it to him. If he can get inside Ace Perry's head, he can walk away welterweight champion.
Gresham bending and twisting that arm. He's found his weakness to exploit. Talk about the welterweight division, Welter Wrestling 2. How about Ophidian? How about Gregory Iron? How about Frightmare? Nate Wings, Ryan Kidd, Lee Moriarty, Sonny Vice. They're all watching this matchup. They'll be part of a 7-way scramble to crown a new #1 contender as Gresham now just bending and breaking away at the fingers of Ace Perry. And Perry again flat on his back, nowhere to go there, nowhere to counter, and just must feel so helpless as Gresham tries to torture a submission out of Perry, who bridges out of the fall attempt.
And we've seen Gresham work on that.
Another cutter.
We've seen Gresham work on that elbow. He's worked on the bicep. He's worked on the shoulder, the trapezius area. Across from the shoulder, he's worked on the fingers. He'll work on every bit of that arm that he can.
Systematic dissection as he bends the wrist and now rakes the eyes with the wrist tape. Gresham getting a little more ugly in his offense here as he bends and tries to outright break the wrist. Now shoulder's trapped for 2. And again, just wrenching the arm on the arm drag. And Gresham makes every movement count. There is no wasted motion. He doesn't do anything just to do it. Gresham is trying to just completely rip that arm out of the socket of Ace Perry.
And it all leads up to one thing, that octopus, where he got the name. You'll know it when you see it if you haven't before. It's certainly something that once you're in it, you don't get out of it. It's very hard to counter. It's very hard to even fight out of, for that matter, let alone avoid it in the first place. But that's what Ace Perry's got to do right now. He's got to keep striking. He's got to stay on his game.
He's trying to fight, but I mean, listen, here's the thing that's dangerous about Jonathan Gresham. You can come into that ring, you can go to the top rope, you can do a 3 or a 4 revolution flip down on your opponent, only connect with 30% of their body and not get the win. It's all what you get out of it. It's all making the most out of everything you do. And Gresham can get more out of an arm drag than some athletes can get out of their so-called finishing moves. That's just how good Gresham is and how meticulous he is. As Ace Perry springs up with a counter. Ace Perry with some trademark offense. And Gresham senses he's in danger for maybe the first time and rolls to the outside.
Smart move by Gresham. We've seen how many people put away by that same cutter from Ace Perry. Smart move by Gresham there to get on the defensive, take a little bit of a breather. He has till 10. Ace Perry obviously not going to let it get to that point. I don't think Ace Perry would take a count-out victory.
I think it's sense that Ace Perry maybe a bit frustrated, a bit desperation, maybe wanted that cutter as a last-ditch move to finish this match without too much damage to the arm. But it's Gresham out of the cross body. Perry rolls through with the momentum. Got him, no. And Perry to his feet. Gresham behind. Perry tried to hang on. He couldn't. Jackknife pin. Or rather, paddle counter roll, I should say. Pace quickens. And Gresham. Gresham stutter steps. He landed awkwardly on that knee. And Ace Perry capitalizes. A Shining Wizard. A driver. Shades of Gresham's mentor, Chris Sabin. 2 count only. It was almost a cradle shot by Ace Perry. Gresham has been aligned and learning from the Motor City Machine Guns and Ring of Honor television and across the country. Maybe that was a message from Ace Perry toward Gresham.
And I'll throw to you that little stutter step we saw from Gresham, an awkward landing on that leg. Could Ace Perry now have found the Achilles heel, if you will, for Jonathan Gresham?
You notice Gresham is grabbing for that knee again, and Ace Perry noticed it. And Ace Perry zoning in. And again, this is not an Ace Perry environment usually. He is not generally ground and pound. He's not generally Anderson Brothers pick apart a body part. Ace Perry loves to go for those Hail Marys. He loves to take those high risks. But right now, Gresham is dictating the style of this matchup. Perry has to go to Gresham's game, not because he wants to, because he has to.
What's bringing out a different side in Ace Perry, and that's what you got to do when you're a champion. You got to go in there with all walks of life, all different styles, all different areas of expertise, if you will, and you got to kind of hone your craft, and that's what we're seeing with him doing with Jonathan Gresham right now.
Has this freak action, that freak landing of Gresham, effectively cost him everything he's worked to build up so far in this matchup as far as the damage done to the arm of Perry.
You know, I think so. We just saw that forearm. Neither man can really throw with the base that they like to set.
Well, there's still contact made. Make no mistake about that. It may not be ideal. It may not be as crisp as it was 5 or 7 minutes ago, but Perry just rocked Gresham with that shot.
You got to think that both of these men spent by this point, we're, I believe, 10 plus minutes or so into this matchup.
Gresham is able to cut Ace Perry off at the pass there.
Smart move going back to that knee.
Gresham. Oh, gosh. Again, the damage done to the arm. And Gresham, look at that. Oh, Perry! Use the momentum! The German suplex snapped it off! The thrust kick! And again, Gresham senses he's in danger! But there may be no running! As Ace Perry, a suicide dive!
And he just drove Gresham back into those guardrails with nowhere to go.
And Perry! With a flatliner! Elevated style! Got him! No! My God, Perry using everything he has. Gresham noticed every time Gresham felt comfortable, he went back for that arm. Every time he felt compromised, he tried to leave the ring. Ace Perry smartened himself up to that strategy, and he knew he had to go to Gresham and not wait for Gresham to come to him. If you are passive against Gresham, he will find a way to destroy you step by step. Oh, Ace Perry went handspring, but the arm didn't give him the spring he needed to come off with a cutter. And Gresham a Hurricane Rana. Shoulders trap, got him, no!
And Joe, review of what I said before about adapting to your opponent on the fly. Something Jonathan Gresham's amazing at. We're seeing that exact same thing from Ace Perry right now.
Ace Perry springboard double stomp to the back of the head. Shotgun dropkick. Gresham was out on his feet, and now maybe easy prey for Diamond Cut. The double stomp connects. Perry retains the welterweight title. No. And reading the facial expression of Ace Perry, a whirlwind of emotions going through the one-man boy band.
And at what point does Ace Perry get frustrated? At what point, if not at this point, is he off his game where Jonathan Gresham can capitalize? And I'll flip that onto the other side. How much more can Jonathan Gresham take? We know that knee's not 100%. We know he's taking the punishment from Ace Perry, but is it going to be Ace Perry able to capitalize, or is Jonathan Gresham just going to be too much for him?
And you can see the toll this match has taken on both men as Gresham favoring the knee, Perry favoring the arm. Oh, gosh. Sandwiching the arm between the feet. Gresham just tries to snap that arm in half. Every time Perry tries to be proactive and charge in, oh, Gresham drives the knee into the arm. Perry left that arm exposed. You make a mistake for a millisecond, Gresham will be there. Standing side switches center ring, both men jockeying for position. Perry dropped. And again the knee to the arm. Gresham traps the arm, shoulders down, bridging forward. Gresham's got him, no! Man. Great weight positioning by Gresham to put all of his body weight over top of the shoulders of Perry with that bridge. Thought that was it for a second, but Perry found a way out.
And he was quick with it, too. There was no waste of, you said it before, no waste of time, no waste of motion there. Great positioning by the referee. That was all Ace Perry on that one. There was nothing other than a kick out for Ace Perry.
And Gresham may be signaling to the end of this matchup. And again, Gresham's not going for flash, he's going for damage. Again, focusing on the arm and maybe an octopus attempt. That would finish this thing. Shoulders down. Perry counters. Gresham rolls through. And Gresham down on Perry's knee. And that sets up the kick to the arm. Distract Perry long enough. Another arm-wrenching arm drag. Into a scissors. We're almost back at square one. Arm drag again. Perry counters. Human game of chess continues. Gresham's gotten off 5 or 6 of the damnedest arm drags I've seen in years. Shoulders trap, got him, no. Again, tunnel vision. It has worked for the past 10 plus minutes. Why divert your offense elsewhere? Gresham is breaking down that arm. It may not be longer until that arm is completely immobile and Ace Perry is just a sitting duck.
Well, it's almost hanging there at Ace Perry's side. You can see him clutching it, maybe trying to get some feeling back into it, doing whatever he's got to do. Because if that arm goes dead, so to speak, it's all over for Ace Perry.
Shooting star, baby!
And Gresham Did he say shooting star? He seems me to say.
I believe so.
But Gresham, well, we're not going to find out if that was in Gresham's state of mind as Ace Perry a superplex. And it's Ace Perry going to take a chance. Double stomp, but Gresham had the feet waiting. Perry tried to adjust, but it was too late. And now Gresham on top. 450 splash. Ace got the knees. Oh, again, it's can you top this? Gresham ducks. Perry hits the post. And Gresham with a pescado. Doesn't waste any time. Perry back in the ring. There's the shooting star. Amazing elevation. And Gresham knows it's going to take something extra special to stop Ace Perry.
And Joe, this could be it right here.
A second shooting star. This'll be it. New champion. Well, what happened? Oh my God. Gresham inadvertently put his own foot under the bottom rope when he had switched position to put his weight over Ace Perry. A technicality may have just cost Gresham the title.
Still, I will say luck for Ace Perry on that one. 2 shooting stars. Ace Perry may have been done, finished, kaput.
Ace was done. He was not kicking out.
Well, you said it yourself, technicality. Give credit to the referee on that one, calling that as it should be called. But Jonathan Gresham, I think that may have taken a lot out of him. You just saw hitting 2 shooting stars.
You could see the look on Gresham's face, the body language. Realized that he had it, and it just slipped away thanks to one innocent mistake, and it's not often. It's very, very rare Gresham makes a mistake, but that was one time. But Gresham's got to get his head back in the game here. Perry's still motionless from the damage of those shooting stars practically. He's dead weight, but Gresham can't show compassion. This is a welterweight title match.
That's true, and if Ace Perry cannot go anymore, you may have to call this one, as much as you hate to want to do that in a championship match.
That'll be a controversial decision for sure. Perry back to the knee. Gresham's hesitation may have given Perry his opening. No, Gresham a cradle. Gresham's got him. No. Perry with a cutter. Oh my God, the neck got jarred. Handspring. Cutter. Perry got it that time.
For both of these men, Gresham right now is out on his feet.
And Gresham has no idea where he is. Springboard with one arm, the cutter that time. Oh, Gresham landed right at the top of his head. Perry the cover. Ace Perry retains the welterweight title.
Here's your winner, and still the welterweight champion, Ace Perry.
This has been one of the damnedest fights we've seen in a long, long time. Just a sample of what is to come when Welterweight Wrestling 2 comes to fight Sunday, October 22nd. That's going to be an event you're not going to want to miss, whether you watch us live or on DVD or VOD. Ace Perry proves why he is the representative Welterweight Wrestling deserves and why he earned that title in the first place at our inaugural event.
Joe, we just may have seen another, not may have seen, we definitely saw another legendary match in this building, as we've seen a lot of great ones. But I got to tell you something, we saw something new out of Ace Perry tonight, and he may have been taken further than he ever has before.
Ace Perry earned every step of that victory. Now it's time for celebration, but you know Ace Perry's going to have that arm heavily iced on the trip home, and probably for several days. A lot of damage was done. Perry looks ahead to Gory on iPay-per-view Welterweight Wrestling 2, welterweightwrestling.com. Find us on social media for a whole lot more from Welterweight Wrestling, as Gresham, Code of Honor, begrudgingly shows his respect. In another universe, Gresham would have had that matchup won with the 2 shooting stars. But Ace Perry, still the man in the welterweight division.
Greetings and salutations, pro wrestling fans. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this. But I am not Jason the Gift Kincaid. No, see, Jason and I, we walk two very different paths in this world. But it just so happens that on October 22nd, live on Fight TV, Turner Hall welterweights, those two paths are finally going to meet in the center of that ring again. See, this is the rubber match. This is the one that decides who the better man truly is, because you and I at this point are 1-1, Jason. Now I know what's going to happen in this match. I already know, because I've wrestled you before. You're going to fly around with your innovations, your flippy, innovative maneuvers. I'm going to punch and kick you in the face. I'm going to hurt you a whole lot. And at the end of it, I'm going to come out the victor. Meanwhile, the fans, of course, will be chanting, "This is awesome. This is awesome." And that's great. I hope that happens. I hope that we entertain the fans like never before, because I want everybody to see it. I want it to be gift everywhere. I want everybody to see what I do to you, Jason. Because on October 22nd, Welterweights 2, my debut is a successful one against you, Kincaid. And afterwards, you're no longer the gift. You're no longer anything. You'll just be another victim of Anthony Henry and his quest to prove that he is the best.
For success, attitude is equally as important as ability. But for some reason, people mistake my attitude for cockiness and arrogance, when in reality all it is confidence. Because the last time I competed for welterweight wrestling, no one thought I was going to win my qualifying match and go on to the main event. But I did. And no one thought I was going to come this close to becoming the welterweight champion. But I was. And the only reason I didn't win that match is because, unlike everyone else, I had to beat 3 other opponents to qualify. How is that fair? It's not. But that's cool. I'm not looking at the past. I'm focused on the future. Because this Sunday, Welterweight Wrestling returns to iPay-per-view on the Fight Network. And I have the opportunity to become the new #1 contender to the Welterweight Championship. And all I gotta do is throw around a bunch of these other welterweights in a 7-man scramble. And it's gonna be like a scene out of a Bruce Lee film with me knocking around these other guys who aren't on my level, the apex level. So everyone better watch their step and protect their neck. Because Lee Moriarty defines success.
You thought you had outsmarted us. Mr. Joe Dombrowski thought that we left our trophies behind in error. Those masks never left our sight. I'm always watching. It just comes down to whether or not I choose to make you aware of it. And I chose to make our presence felt at a time that would benefit us most. You won't stop us from doing anything. You don't get to play hero and dictate whose possession those masks are in. You saw the look in my eyes, and you knew. In that moment, you were more vulnerable and powerless than you had ever been in your entire life. These masks are not just cloth to us. These masks represent domination, conquest, the feeling of air leaving someone's body, and them not knowing whether or not they'll even take their next breath, knowing that their life will never be the same again. And we earn these, we earned them, we earn these, we earned them. We would die for these masks, we would kill for these masks! And no one will ever take these away from us. And now that we have what every single tag team in this company wants, Premier Championship Wrestling now belongs to the culmination.
We go live at the top of the hour with Welterweight Wrestling 2. Let's preview the card for you right now. We're going to kick things off by talking about a recent rematch from an Evolve event. Talking about Anthony Henry and Jason the Gift Kincaid, the MMA background versus the unique West Virginia Mountaineer mentality, their one-on-one in recent meetings. Buku Dow has made a big-time impact for Wildcat sports in Louisiana. Ace Austin, a major star in the East Coast and Midwest on the rise. He was shining at the Welterweight 1 event. He'll go one-on-one with Buku here this afternoon. Cornelius crumbles with Sonny Defarge, Jakara standouts. Atticus Cover with brother Otis. They are, let's be honest, they're sick in the head. The most violent and wild tag team rivalry in the area. Stolen masks, title belts, and more lead to this matchup heading to iPay-per-view. Gavin Glass, the cut above the rest, versus the Concrete Rose, Sonny Kiss. Gavin is full of attitude and a pompous nature, but he can't underestimate Sonny Kiss. He's a very dangerous man. Tag action on tap, Eye Candy, ELLIOTT, Tyler Nitro. They never met a mirror they didn't like. Alex Jordan and Sean Phoenix, a makeshift team in our first event. They come back more prepared. We'll see who will get the victory here this afternoon. Plus Cole Radrick and Sage Phillips against the Amazing Graysons. Hysteria has risen to the occasion in the Midwest. The Graysons have made news headlines all over the East Coast. Tony Mamaluke, their mentor. Two teams will collide for the first time. 7-weight elimination scramble. Who gets the title shot at Welterweight 3 in 2018? 7 different journeys, 7 deserving paths. Elimination rules. We crowned a champion this way. We'll crown a contender that way too. Speaking of champions, Ace Perry, the welterweight champion, defends against the new age plague Gory. It's the darkness of the infection of Gory versus the light of the positive attitude of Ace Perry. They go one-on-one in your main event. It's Welterweight Wrestling 2. We go live in HD at 5 p.m. Eastern on Fight.
Welterweight Wrestling's first event was one of the greatest nights of my life. I outlasted a field of 15 other of the best rising young stars in the sport. I was complimented and congratulated by a legend I look up to. I wear this title with pride, honor, and respect for everything welterweight wrestling stands for. I'll wrestle anyone you put in front of me. I'll risk my body, my health, and I'll do it with a smile on my face. I want to make sure that no fan ever leaves an Ace Perry match disappointed. It means the world to me to be the face of welterweight wrestling. And I'm going to work as hard as I can to make sure that I don't let anybody down.
Ace Perry, are you really that naive enough to believe this fairy tale you've created for yourself? Sure, you made history. You did something no one else could do. You lived a dream. But look at the world around you. Dreams are made to die. This world is infected with hatred, corruption, greed. Each and every day, the infection grows. Look around you. I'm not the outcast anymore. You are. You think you have a choice in this? I've conquered promotions before. I've held titles hostage before. I've held the hopes of everyone in the palm of my hands. To crush at will. I couldn't give a damn less about welterweight wrestling. About that entire locker room and their little revolution to prove themselves. I don't want that welterweight title to prove anything to anybody. I wanted to watch you all suffer and kill all your dreams in one single moment.
Gory, you think you can end my dream?
Ace Perry, you think you can control the infection?
Just try to stop me.